Hi, I'm Kylie, a marketing executive who thought she had it all figured out until life decided to throw me a curveball with a nasty flu that hit 102 degrees. Babe, I can't postpone this business trip. The Henderson deal needs to close this week. Mark was packing his suitcase while I lay in bed, barely able to lift my head. You're seriously leaving? I can barely stand up. There's soup in the kitchen. I'll check on you when I land. He didn't even look at me. I drifted in and out of consciousness for what felt like days. The fever dreams were getting worse when I heard banging on the door. Oh my God, Kylie, why aren't you answering your phone? Rachel burst into my bedroom, still in her scrubs from the hospital. You're burning up! Mark. Business trip. I'm calling your mom and sister. This is insane. She was already dialing. Within an hour, my sister Emma and mom Linda arrived. The room was spinning with activity. 102.4. We need to get this fever down now. Rachel pressed a cold compress to my forehead. Where's that husband of yours? Linda was sorting through medicine bottles. Henderson deal, I mumbled. What Henderson deal? Mark's office said there's no Henderson client. Emma was on her phone, frowning. The next few days were a blur of medication, sleep, and worried faces. When the fever finally broke, reality started becoming clearer. Your phone's been buzzing nonstop. Rachel handed me my iPhone. Dozens of notifications from our joint credit card app. Charges at restaurants I'd never been to, hotel bars across town. Let me see that. Emma took the phone. These aren't business expenses. Look at the times. All late-night charges. He's been lying about working late for months. Rachel sat beside me. Remember when he missed your birthday dinner? Said he had that big closing? I saw him that night. Linda spoke up. At Bellini's, he wasn't alone. My hands shook as I scrolled through the charges. Who goes to the Ritz-Carlton for a business meeting at 11 p.m.? Someone who's not at a business meeting? Emma's lawyer voice was coming out. Have you checked his other accounts? I opened his email on my laptop. We shared passwords, or so I thought. He changed all his passwords. Good thing I work in IT. Rachel pulled out her tablet. Let's see what else Mr. Business Trip is hiding. The room fell silent as notifications kept pinging. Each one felt like another nail in the coffin of my marriage. We're going to figure this out. Emma squeezed my hand. And he's going to regret leaving you alone with that fever. The pain in my chest wasn't from the flu anymore. But as I looked at these three women surrounding me, I knew I wasn't alone anymore. And Mark was about to learn that karma has a way of coming back around. Rachel pulled up bank records on her tablet, while Sarah typed furiously on her laptop. Got it. His deleted emails are still cached on the cloud backup. Sarah turned the screen towards me. Look familiar? Dozens of emails between Mark and someone named Jessica Martinez. Property listings, late-night meetups, explicit messages. She's one of his biggest clients. Always bragged about her luxury listings. My stomach churned reading their exchanges. Check this out. 3 property purchases under an LLC registered to a P.O. box. Sarah pulled up county records. That sneaky piece of... Look at the dates. Emma pointed at the screen. All when he claimed to be at real estate conferences. Linda walked in with coffee, her face grim. Time you knew something. He was married before you. What? He said I was his first wife? To a woman in Seattle. Lasted 8 months. She found out he was running the same game. Affairs with clients. Hidden properties. Classic narcissist playbook. Rachel scrolled through text messages. Remember when he said you were imagining things about that dinner with the Wilsons? He swore I had the date wrong. Here's his reservation confirmation. Exactly when you said it was, but with Jessica instead? Sarah whistled. This guy's digital footprint is a goldmine. Look, hotel bookings every Thursday for 6 months. That's my yoga night. He said he had property showings. Only thing he was showing was his... Rachel? Linda cut her off. But you're not wrong. Here's something interesting. Sarah pulled up more records. Jessica's husband, Tom, runs background checks for the real estate board. The one Mark keeps bragging about knowing? Bet he doesn't know about these cozy dinners. My phone buzzed. Mark. Had another great meeting. Missing you, babe. Two-faced snake. Rachel checked her phone. He just posted on Instagram from a business dinner, tagged location at LeBlanc. Sarah smirked. Funny, because his credit card was just charged at the Paramount Hotel. With Jessica's room service order on her card, Emma was checking another screen. Time to play smarter, sis. We document everything. Rachel started organizing files. Every lie, every receipt, every fake business meeting, and every property under that shady LLC. Sarah added more files to the folder. My hands stopped shaking. Anger replaced hurt. He thinks I'm still sick in bed, doesn't he? Oh, honey. Linda smiled wickedly. Let him keep thinking that. The pieces were falling into place. Mark thought he was so clever with his digital tricks, but he didn't know who he was dealing with. Not anymore. These property records show a pattern. Emma spread documents across the table. Mark buys through his shell LLC, does minimal repairs, then sells at inflated prices, using Jessica's real estate license to hide his involvement. I scrolled through transaction histories. Time to make a call. Emma dialed her phone. Tom, this is Emma Sanders. I'm a property law specialist. Got a minute? The speakerphone crackled. What's this about? Your wife Jessica and a realtor named Mark Thompson. Might want to sit down for this. Silence, then. I'm listening. Sarah forwarded the hotel receipts and photos. His sharp intake of breath echoed through the speaker. Those timestamps. She said she was at board meetings. There's more. I pulled up the property records. They've been flipping houses under fake companies, using your position on the board as cover. That background check he wanted rushed last month. To hide his previous fraud charges, Emma confirmed. We've found 5 other buyers who lost money on his schemes. Send me everything. Tom's voice turned cold. The board meets tomorrow. Rachel burst in, waving her phone. You won't believe who just called me. Mark's ex from Seattle. How did she? Saw his name on a real estate forum warning. She's got proof of the same scam from 3 years ago. Forward it to my paralegal. Emma was already typing. Tom, you still there? Adding it to the file. The other board members need to see this. My team's compiling statements from the buyers. Emma pulled up more documents. One lost their retirement savings. He told them the properties were gold mines. I remembered his practice sales pitch. Guaranteed returns. Got another one, Sarah called from her laptop. Property transfer to Jessica last week. Way below market value. The pieces are falling into place. Emma organized the files. Wire transfers, fake permits, forged signatures. Don't forget this. Linda handed over a USB drive. Security footage from the Paramount. Front desk owed me a favor. Tom, I leaned toward the phone. We're sending everything now. Emails, photos, property records, bank statements. Meetings at 9 a.m. Jessica won't know what hit her. The line went dead. Think he'll come through? Rachel looked worried. He has to. I stared at the mountain of evidence. His reputation's on the line, too. Either way, Emma closed her laptop with a snap. We've got enough to bury them both. The web of lies was unraveling. Tomorrow, Mark would learn exactly who he'd messed with. The board will now hear evidence regarding license violations. The chairman's gavel echoed through the conference room. Tom stood, folder in hand. Evidence shows systematic fraud by agents Mark Thompson and Jessica Martinez. Mark spun around, face paling when he saw me walk in with Emma. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be sick in bed. Like when you left me with a 102 fever? Emma stepped forward. My client presents evidence of illegal property flips, falsified documents, and client fraud. The projector displayed transaction records. Jessica gripped her chair, shooting daggers at Tom. You went through my private files? No, honey. Your boyfriend's sloppy digital trail did that for me. Mark lunged for the door. 2 security guards blocked his path. The board recognizes previous testimony from Seattle. The chairman nodded to a video screen where Mark's ex-wife appeared. Same scam, different state. He left me bankrupted and sick too. These documents show losses exceeding $2 million. Emma distributed files. 5 buyers lost their life savings. You can't prove, Mark started. Actually, Tom interrupted, your text messages to my wife proved everything. The board members flipped through pages, faces darkening. By unanimous decision, the chairman stood. Licenses of both Mark Thompson and Jessica Martinez are permanently revoked. Criminal charges will be filed. Emma smiled coldly. The DA's very interested in those forged documents. Jessica burst into tears. You promised nobody would find out. Like he promised me I was his first wife? I stepped closer to Mark. Or how he promised those buyers their investments were safe? Motion to forward all evidence to the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. Tom wasn't finished. And my divorce lawyer. Mark slumped in his chair, facade finally cracking. Kylie, baby, I can explain. Save it for your cellmate. Later, at home, Linda poured champagne while Rachel and Sarah cheered. To karma! Rachel raised her glass. And to family. Linda hugged me tight. Blood or chosen? What's next? Sarah asked. Emma's helping the buyers file civil suits. I sipped my drink. And I'm starting my own marketing firm. Using his seized assets as seed money. Emma grinned. Court approved it this morning. The fever that started it all was long gone. In its place, something stronger had grown. The knowledge that I wasn't just a victim in Mark's story. I was the author of his downfall. What would you have done if your spouse abandoned you while severely ill, only to discover they were living a double life? Did Kylie go too far with her revenge? Or did Mark deserve everything that happened to him? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this story about sweet karma, hit like and subscribe for more revenge tales that'll make you think twice about crossing the wrong person.